playing a Twitch ad right now. And welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2017. We are ready to go with Elder Scrolls Oblivion by Garish, so take it away.
Oh, who controls the time, by the way?
The gods.
The gods? Okay. Okay, you. Okay. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. It was last ran 2 SGDQs ago, and the route has improved greatly, mostly through a glitch known as load warping, which we can get to later, but that is notably the biggest thing, along with like thousands of new optimizations. And so the first thing he did was equip Flare and Heal Minor Wounds. And so that's just he can heal, and so he can use Flare to aggro a few enemies and kill them as well.
Not much we can really do at the beginning here. It's pretty slow, but it will speed up very greatly once we get out of the sewers.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can do a little roll call then. So.
Yep. I'm Garish Goblin.
The Fun Cannon.
I'm Bubbles Del Fuego.
I'm His Bolts.
And interesting enough, Garish has world record, Fun Cannon has second place, and we are tied for third. That's pretty cool. Oh, you can mention what happens right here.
Yeah. And the first trick is right here, actually.
So we try to actually pickpocket the guard while we're already in jail. And that makes them very confused because you're already in jail, though they do have to catch you first. Which... You're not actually catching him.
Sometimes it could be a little finicky if the guard doesn't
there
see
we go.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So they try to arrest you while you're already in jail, so they can't actually do that. But it just brings all the NPCs in the room much, much faster.
Yeah, it saves like 10 seconds. And he did a little flare there. The spell, not like artsy stuff. And to like begin the aggro on him, so he only needs to do 4 punches now, which normally takes 5 attacks.
You aggro them to make them run faster, because normally they walk very, very slow.
Oh, the 3-hit in the... Ooh.
An aggro one of them makes all of them aggro on you, so you can just aggro one and then run ahead, and the rest of them will carry.
The one that matters here is Reynold. That one, as long as she's out in front, it'll spawn out these 3 enemies, and then once they're all dead, it just progresses the story as fast as possible. And they'll spawn right there all the time, always.
And the game is run on the easiest difficulty and make sure you one-shot them pretty much every time.
And once again, you're just getting them ready so they're 1 hit away from being aggro. Sometimes, even though you'll do 3 fireballs, you'll still be 2 hits away. But you just got to be safe. Just constantly cutting off what he says.
Yeah, so here coming up is actually one of the only orange, like pure RNG sections. This wall can break pretty fast, or it can break 5 seconds late, and looks like we got the fast one.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that's like RNG or if it like depends on the rat's movements or what the Emperor does.
Yeah.
Or...
The rat itself just has 2 different animations that can do. One takes down the wall,
yeah.
One just waste time.
And yeah, this is just the sewers. You're just going through and you're trying to escape. It takes about like 5-6 minutes or so, and like, or more like 6 or 7, and
just pretty much pure movement optimization at this point.
And I guess we can mention why we chose the high elf female. That's the tallest character in the game, and for some reason, there's like a programming ratio that just means that if you're taller, you move faster.
Bethesda.
Yeah, so. And that's about it. So just clearing through the hallways, knowing when the audio is going to come so you can see him tilt down to click continue. It's extremely highly optimized, and the time goes down really, really far by Goblin, just completely coming into the community and owning it. I think he's done that before with a different one as well. But yeah, this is, you just start, you try to get good RNG, you try to get good aggro, you try to get good enemy kills, and then you just walk for a little bit, and then you do it again, and then you start getting drugged up.
Yeah, this first section is definitely the worst part of the run, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just really boring. There's really nothing much going on. Once we get the drugs, things are gonna get way more interesting.
Yes. All right, and now we're back to probably the most like troll part of the sewers.
Easily the hardest.
Yeah, it's not even like a difficulty thing, really. It's just like
The game can just completely screw you.
you can only get so good at this part, and then yeah, people have to run a certain amount. You have to make sure, like right there, enemies just run around and you miss.
Oh god. There we go.
So you actually do want to keep the...
I actually want to hit Glenroy here because he can do some weird things if I don't.
Yeah, you wanna, if you hit him, it somehow makes him not mad at you anymore, and then it stops the aggro of the future patch of enemies that are trying to attack you, which you don't want them to be aggro because the Emperor won't talk to you right here, and the Emperor needs to stand right there to talk to you.
And we just picked the Steed there because it gives a little bit of a speed boost.
Yeah.
You may as well.
And we're playing on patch, I think, 1.0.
1.0 is the fastest.
Because right here we'll be picking up some arrows in a chest. So we're going to aggro them again so they start running, as usual. I don't know why he didn't keep his aggression, but...
Yeah, Uriel de-aggroes completely if he gets hit by one of these agents, actually, so that's the reason, I guess.
Playing on the easiest difficulty, and it's just flare. It's not. You may like. I get asked a lot of stuff like, "Why are you so strong?" It's just play Oblivion on easy. But that's not what makes this run hard. Don't worry about it. You don't kill that many things. And so yeah, that was actually pretty good. In regards to they didn't get stuck or no enemies didn't come at you or anything.
You can push the NPCs a little bit, make them go a little bit faster.
All right, who wants to be the one to explain duping?
I'll take it. So, when you equip arrows on the earliest patch of this game, especially when you're in the middle of an attacking animation at the same time, the game remembers the number of the arrows, so you can actually drop something else and it will drop the number of the arrows for whatever reason. So you can also do that with scrolls as well, and that's the one that hasn't been patched. So you have to down patch for arrow duping, but not for scroll duping. But that pretty much takes care of everything we need for the rest of the run, outside of a couple other things.
Yeah. So he gets a lot of Flashbolt and Chameleon. He doesn't need Chameleon, but he just needs another scroll to dupe the Flashbolts in the first place. And so he has a lot of Flashbolt. That's his damage for the run, Flashbolt, because it does like 27 damage or something per hit. I think that's right. And
Oops. That was the wrong guy, but hopefully that doesn't matter.
He's fine.
he duped a lot of lockpicks as well, because every door that he has to unlock, he will just jam lockpicks into it aggressively until it opens. And then, so sad, the Emperor died.
Couldn't save him.
Yeah, you spend plenty of time talking about how you're grieving him.
Nightblade is actually the fastest class. It gets you both athletics and speed, I believe, something along that lines. But it's the only default class that actually gives you both.
And yeah, as soon as we're out of the sewers, we're gonna head to the outside area and get some skooma immediately, which gives you a strength and speed attribute, which lets you carry a lot with strength and also lets you move fast, which is good because we're going to have like 400 skooma, which is going to normally weigh you down because they each weigh half a pound. And, oh, we're going to Bravel to do it. Okay.
Yeah, there are two guys who sell skooma in this game. There's Shady Sam, I think his name is.
Yep.
He's outside Imperial City, and then there's the guy in Bravil. It's actually, I think it's faster to do the Imperial City guy in RTA, but
you don't want to mess with the muscle memory, and also
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of parts in this game where you need the clock to be at the right place. And it would be just not good to just change your muscle memory completely for a marathon run, just for the sake of like 2 or 3 seconds.
So that's also the reason we duped 5 or 10 potions so that we can sell them for skooma.
So yeah, you need to be able to afford 1 skooma, so you sell 10 potions. Oh, your character is beautiful.
Oops. Yeah, that's a bad thing. I actually drank the skooma.
You're getting eager.
Kind of a problem.
Yep.
Run's not over
So
yet. Can't
yeah,
get
I
wasted.
only have 1 skooma, but really soon we're gonna have multiple skooma.
So you can duplicate 1 of something with the smaller stack of scrolls to make just a bunch on the ground. And then once you have a larger stack of skooma, like about 20 or so, you dupe it with the larger stack of scrolls to make just a few, but these each have a lot in them. And then you do it again, and now you've got like 400. And so he also bound it on his hotkey. So he just like consumed like 4 or 5 from his hotkey. And you can do 5 max from 1 spot at a time. And then, but the fastest way to go, as we'll see right here, is 4 from the hotkey, and then going into the inventory and using 4 again to be using 8 at the same time. And this is called an 8 stack. And we'll be moving roughly this speed throughout the entire run as long as we're on the ground. But when we're in the air, we can gain a lot of speed by bouncing off objects sometimes. So those are called skooma jumps, and you'll see 1 in this upcoming Oblivion gate. And also, he's already just doing the first Oblivion gate.
Yeah, this segment is probably the hardest, one of the hardest ones to get perfectly right, since there are, I think, 2 skooma jumps and lots of movement stuff, and then at the end there's pretty random fight that can go either really well or pretty poorly.
Yeah, already at the beginning there, he skipped pretty much the entire outside area by jumping around the gate because you've got enough speed, and the air strafing is really, really strong in this game.
And to get to the final sigil in this level, you need to, or like the orb that if you destroy it, the gate's dead, and you're not. You have to run down that way and get a key from a guy, or you can just like jump off this ledge and nudge some collision with your body at high speeds. It's a little tricky. It's just kind of like just being used to the controls in the game to get it, and you'll fly really high up. And yeah, that's just, yeah. It's really satisfying. And right here, we'll be setting up our first...
Second.
Well, second, yeah. So this is the only Oblivion gate you need to finish, is what I'm trying to figure out to say. So later on, we'll be load warping to that door to just say that we finished Oblivion gates later on instead of actually going all the way through them, because every Oblivion gate in the game shares the same final cell. So we let Mattias know that we've finished the gate and we are ready to go save Martin, who is hiding in the church inside of Kvatch.
The enemies in this town are a lot of times very, very, very trolly. They run away from you, they dodge you, make your life terrible, but that actually went really well.
Yeah, that was almost
that's
perfect.
It's one of the best I've ever seen. Like, they all ran towards you, they didn't like zigzag. All right, there's Martin, he's out of there. And we have to go to Masark, and we don't have to do it now, but it's on it's on the way. We're already scrolled at this point on the map, and so we might as well just go here.
It's actually an intended sequence break. You're supposed to get this item for the main story at some point, but the developers left dialogue in the game so that you could get it early, and it completely intended.
So later on in the game, you'll like talk to Martin and Joffrey, and then you can just talk to them again, and then they're like, "Oh, you did it! Congratulations!" So this is just a lot of really quick movement through the place. So I suppose there's room for a donation.
We have $50 from the Dark Adonis. What Skyrim mod is this? We have $15 from Rodvit. Good luck to Garish for the TES4 Oblivion run. I've got fond memories of speedrunning Oblivion on 360 using the paintbrush glitch. It's what introduced me to the speedrunning community.
Oh yeah, that glitch, that's old news. The 90% run for this game is just going through walls and then getting to the end of the game through a trigger. And this is the No Out of Bounds. It's a really fun and competitive category, and it just takes a lot of like mental focus.
Yeah, nobody likes any person. It's just way too fast. The clips are super random.
Yeah, you don't like it, but you played it like 4 times and got really good, so.
I guess so.
And here's the first load warp.
So he's going to load a previous save real quick, and then he's going to try to open the next door and hit the escape menu at the same time, which will confuse the game, and try to load the area in the save, but the character that you have in your other quick save.
So right after he duped Skooma, he made a save file really quick outside of the door to the Wayne and Priory, and then he just quick saved after getting the stone and brought it right through. So his character from inside the dungeon is just back here, so he doesn't have to do any of the backtracking.
These guys can be super dodgy sometimes.
You're back.
In general, the AI in this game is like, they strafe super fast, and since the flash bolts travel pretty slow, it can be super difficult to hit enemies sometimes.
So we're actually going to skip the inauguration process for Martin here, just by leaving after opening the door. It continues running in the background, but we can go off and do other things that we need to do.
And yeah, during this time, we can spend some time just completing another quest early before we need to. And we're going to get a Daedric item. So right here, we're going to go get the Umbra. And for this to be like a legitimate Daedric item, we need to do a Daedric like shrine quest to get it. So we can't just pick up the Umbra, which in itself is a Daedric item. We can get the Umbra to trade it for a different one, though. So we're going to get this and then trade it in for the Mask of Clavicus Vile. And which is in itself is a bug in a sequence break.
It's supposed to be level 25, I think, to be able to start the quest. But by getting the sword first, it still gives you the completion objective for the quest.
And so the save file that he had before going in there, he got the sword, quick saved, reloaded the save file that was outside, interacted with the door while he paused, and then when he was in the pause menu, he loaded the quick save. It's kind of like hard to follow, but it's really simple. And so he's got the sword, and he's running back up here to the shrine, which is conveniently right next to it.
You approached.
And he needs to actually set the flag so he can speak to the shrine in the first place.
And probably the best skip in the game, dog butt skip.
Dog butt skip,
Yep.
found by Yimmery Yams.
If you talk to the dog, specifically on the statue, it gives you none of the dialogue.
You normally have to wait like a lot longer and go through some more dialogue, but if you talk to the dog's butt, it just lets you just get straight to the point.
It is good to.
And he's gonna go collect a bunch of books, but before he does that, he wants to make sure that he can get back here without having to fast travel and run up every time. So he sets a load warp location for that.
And one thing to note about load warping is not every door actually works. Sometimes if you load warp into an area, certain things despawn when they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Especially NPCs' clothes, but sometimes doors as well. So you can get into pseudo areas.
Good work.
So at Wayne and Priory, he made that save file on the outside, but if he made that save file on the inside looking out, and he did a load warp, and he was leaving the building upon that, the buildings would be there, but no collision, and it would just be funky.
He's actually going to wait until about the time that shops start opening, because the next thing after Tarmina here, he's going to have to actually interact with his shop owner.
All right, right before 8 a.m. is really nice.
Ah, you must.
And of course, again, he's going to set up another load warp spot for when he gets out of the meeting with the Path of Dawn dude. And right here, this guy is so nice to you and happy to see you as a customer, and then he immediately gets upset at you. Good day. And so you wait a bit, and then someone heard that you were having a little conversation with this guy, and now he's got the books. So you take it from him by just getting really mad at him, all drugged up and strong. And we just couldn't wait to get back into the sewers again.
We're actually going to go this way on purpose when you're supposed to actually go to Boris right now. But if we did do that, Boris would take forever to actually get through the sewers. He tries to kill every single enemy. It's just not worth it. So we're going to actually come all the way to where we're supposed to go, drop all the aggro by quick saving, quick loading, and then waiting for him.
Nice. That's the hardest scuba jump in the game. That's
Saves like 2 seconds.
saves 2 seconds.
I really wanted to get that. Like I practiced that so hard today just to get it.
I'm so happy. So he's done this glitch earlier in the run, but if you just quick save and reload when you go through into a different cell, even though if you didn't quick save and reload, you would still have enemy aggro on you and you can't wait or fast travel. But if you just go through another cell and there's no enemies around you, you can just quick save and reload and there's a good chance that no enemies will be on you. And then he was able to wait, and then Boris can travel all the way through without having to fight any slow enemies. And so that's your meeting with the guy. You got the last book.
It can be pretty hard to do this. Open the door and pause the game at the same time. I don't know if it's frame perfect, but probably pretty close to that.
Yeah, we found it to be a lot easier with like a mechanical keyboard type.
Yeah.
And as long as it's between, I think, 11:45 and 12:30, or something like that.
It's around there.
Yeah.
Then you'll be able to mark. That's why that's the only reason really in the run why time is important. You can be super vague everywhere else, but you need that to line up specifically, because if it's like 11:35, then you either have to fast travel somewhere else and come back, or you have to just stand there and wait for like 10 in-game minutes, which is kind of a while. It's like a whole minute. So yeah, now he doesn't have to worry about time anymore. It's definitely one of those runs where the more you progress through the run, the easier it gets. But it's a real struggle in the first half.
Did you guys know that you cannot escape the Master's Vigilance?
Yeah, I heard that. Oh, he almost told
Started to
us.
say it. So you just kind of run past all the cult members here, and steal their book, and instantly leave.
It's the last room. Can he say it?
You must put yourself in their shoes and see how confusing this would be.
And so as soon as you get out of that room, you just load warp out, because you needed to get So you can either wait for Mancart Cameron to go through the portal to get that notification, which takes like 10 seconds, or you can just quickly leave and you get the notification saying that he left. And then once you have that, the flag for the quest finishes, and then you can just, by the time I'm done describing it, he's already starting his next one. As he load warp all the way back up to Cloud Ruler Temple, and he's on his way to kill the spies for Joffrey. And if you want to know who the spies are, then you got to play this game casually, because this is going by way too fast. But I really hope you play this game casually if you haven't. This is literally one of the best games of all time.
He's waiting here specifically for about 7 a.m. That's where both spies end up going to their house together. Otherwise, they can be in other random parts of the city, and it's hard to track them down.
I don't know why. We used to have to just the route, just kill one in the house and one by like a shrine, but...
Oops, you didn't mean to do that. So you can see me making some save files randomly. They don't make sense right now, but they'll make sense later in the run.
So he just auto-block picked about 50 times until he got it. Just get clocked. This is one of the shortest segments in the run, but there's like so much to do in that small amount of time.
And now Brumagate. I think one of the biggest recent discoveries in this run was the Brumagate skip.
Oh yeah.
There used to be a pretty big part of RNG in the run, and every runner hated it because you're supposed to go to talk to Bird, and he's going to lead. He was supposed to lead you through the Oblivion Gate, but you were so fast that we let him and tried to get him up. Now we just get to skip it.
Yeah, it was like a 2.5 minute escort mission, but this is the biggest time save found with load warping into the final cell.
Thanks for coming.
So this is Bird. He's kind of sucks. So we're just gonna go in here, and this is where it's gonna look really weird. So you're gonna see this area that he was just in, like those clouds and stuff. But then he's going to load warp to the first Oblivion Gate cell door that he was at before, and he's gonna pick the lock for it while he's here.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The game really freaks out here, and then he did it or something. I don't know.
And
It was an honor.
Bird's like, it was great, thanks. This game's great.
No bugs at all.
So that saves a lot of time. And there's still one more Oblivion Gate to do in the run, and if you expect
Good
it
work.
to go just as fast, you're right.
You should.
All right, so earlier, I think that's like the last time where you really need to worry about Joffrey running around the place. But before he went to go talk to Bird, Joffrey could have been anywhere, and he's just a real hassle to find at Cloud Ruler Temple, so that's why he was waiting a little bit every now and then just to make sure that he would spawn right next to him, and he got lucky enough that he did.
Now we're off to Sankator. It can be a big spot of RNG as well, just from the ghost activity, because there are 4 ghosts that you have to kill through the area.
Yep. I made sure to count. And there's you only need 1 piece of armor, and Joffrey's like, there's 1 piece of armor here, and so, yeah, and then Martin dons all the armor for the final Great Gate battle, and he can die really easily during it, so we kind of wish this armor was a little bit stronger, but as long as it's fast, we do it. So this is like one of the biggest and coolest movement tech areas of the run. It's just so like fluid, and you have to make sure that you don't get stuck in anything or be too slow or lose your way, because all the skooma recharge points that are just almost always going to be the same. And you'll notice the bar on the top right keeps track of the skooma, so it lets you know when it's depleted. And there's like a fourth of a second where you can reconsume skooma from your hotkey, and you won't stop moving. And it's really hard to time that, but as long as the fluidity keeps going throughout the entire run, it can really make a difference in your time. And yeah, he made that one save file at the beginning just to load warp to the beginning of the dungeon. So we kill this guy, which you got pretty good luck on normally, but now you don't need to worry about it at all for that one. You can either hide in the back of that little cave or stand out here.
You need to make sure not to do the load warp until you get the quest update there, or else I don't believe it happens.
Yeah.
So this next ghost coming up is the heaviest RNG in this part of the run. If he doesn't walk out of his little cell,
He's shy.
just like that,
There's all these people watching.
wastes about 10, 15 seconds, something like that.
Yeah. And of course, because it's a marathon, we didn't get the best RNG, but whatever.
You got the sewer jump. That's all you got to care about.
Yep.
And that should be the last one.
Yeah, if you load warp back here, like first try really fast, it saves like a second, but there's no real consistent point. And you quick save reload, and then wait, and then all the guys should be back this year.
There it is.
Alright, got the armor, and then load warping back to Cloud Ruler Temple. Quick saving, opening the door and pausing, loading the quick save. And then the quick save is on the other side of the door.
My program.
And then Martin's like, oh, we got a piece of armor, we are ready to go.
So here we're just gonna alert the leader of Burma that we're planning to pretty much draw all the fighting here and make the Great Gate spawn.
And you have to come here to tell her, because as soon as she's in this church, she's interactable again for the subject matter. And she's either offering you to like, I'm not ready, or we need more of an army, or let the battle begin. And we're just like, let's just start fighting now. Because you're like a one-man army in this run. All the people that are there to help you down there just either hit you or miss, or or Martin does all the killing, and that's the one thing that can ruin the run here is just Martin dying.
Unfortunately, there's not much we can do to really speed this up because it's just a certain amount of real time that has to pass before anything will really happen. So you can actually walk away and like despawn all the enemies and make sure nothing really happens, but that also doesn't really help for the final load warp later.
And after he comes out of the Great Gate, there's a few enemies that are here, and sometimes like eliminating a lot of the final wave of scamps that are there will reduce the odds of a scamp being outside of here as well. So there's just it's annoying mostly just because Martin can die, and it's an auto scroller, but you still have to like focus a little bit. And it's a good time for donations. He's just gonna wait for enemies to spawn and then get into the Great Gate and then make sure Martin doesn't die.
He's cool with it.
We have $150 from Rebang Bang. Stop right there, criminal scum. You've stolen my sleep schedule. So much respect and thanks to everyone involved with SGDQ this year. You're all doing a fantastic job. Put this towards runner's choice. We have a $15 anonymous donation. My friend lent me his copy of Oblivion. 7 years later, and I still haven't given it back. Hopefully this donation will ease my guilt somewhat. Good luck on the run. Hope it doesn't take 7 years. We have $10 from Oblivion Walker. Best Elder Scrolls game ever. Let's give a few septims to Doctors Without Borders, me, and the Discord Oblivion speedrunning team. Good luck to Garish. When is crash percent?
So yeah, you can just punch Martin if you want to, and then run up to a rock, and the Martin's going to try to attack you the whole time because he's aggroed, and it's a guarantee that he'll stay far away from the enemies. But it's not only is a lot less action-packed, but you'll have to come back down here when there's a lot of enemies. And he's got like another 30 seconds of killing enemies, so we can do one more donation.
We have $5 from Kuro. So the plot of Oblivion is that a woman breaks out of jail, does a bunch of drugs, attempts to save the world while running incredibly fast, jumping impossibly high, and opening locks by shoving lockpicks into them. Got it.
I'm not even sure if the character is aware that he's saving the world.
Let's be honest
He
here.
skips past all the dialogue.
And here, if you saw what we did with the Brumagate, the exact same thing is happening here.
So yeah, the quick save as soon as he gets in here, and then reloading the door to the cell of the first Oblivion Gate you were in Kvatch, and they all share the same point. And then lockpicks it. And here we are. We don't even have to like run up and get the orb at the gate. It just finishes it for us. Because the one that we're warping to is already finished.
Oh, there goes Martin, I guess.
Poor guy. He's just sleeping, though. It's okay.
Is that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's fine.
We won. We did it.
See, he was only pretending.
And so he waits for Martin to like stop being dead and come back up here. And he's gonna somehow learn a spell that opens up a portal to paradise. And this is where Mankart Cameron is. We have a lot of skooma this run.
Yeah. Usually you only have like 400, but for some reason I made like 5.5.
At this point we'll have like 50, 60 left, and it equals out great. It means you don't need to have much skooma when you're in the Great Gate fight, so you can just walk around normally and not have to refuel or anything.
So the first thing we need to do in this cave area is we need to take care of one of the Dremora because it's got a certain bracer that you can wear that will let you actually get through the door right here. Otherwise, it would be locked.
It's best for him to be optimally outside because it's very easy to aim ahead of time. And also, when you refuel on skooma in the inventory, you can just switch over to the armor and put it on. And yeah, it lets you put on open these lava doors.
In the paradise that
Oh.
Oh, you saved too.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you want to kill him?
you didn't think you could
He doesn't need to die.
As long as he just doesn't talk to you, you're fine.
Okay.
in the paradise that
Right, much
I
better.
created.
There we go.
Ran out of skooma right over the hole.
Yeah.
It stops you dead in your tracks. You don't get to trail your movement, even if you're midair. It's not how physics works. It just, you stop.
Well,
Also, we can't really complain because this isn't, like,
Progress is
drugs don't
swift
do
and
this to
sure.
you anyway, so I
Perhaps
don't
you will
really know
reach
why
me
we're
after all.
nitpicking on what parts make sense.
You think I'm
Wait, you
monkey?
can't fly?
You
Not
can't.
at all.
You don't take this many drugs?
In your coming, I hear the footsteps of fate.
All right, so he's got some guys that are trailing on him, maybe, sometimes. But just to be safe,
You are the
you can
last defender
try to
of
escape
decadent
Paradise, and
Tundra.
it warps you back there, and that
I
removes
am
all the
midwife
aggro.
of the mythic dawn.
Also, doing skooma jumps like that on
Gabriel.
stairs is pretty much free, because you need to do it off like a right angle that's jutting out, kind of like a curb on a sidewalk. And stairs are basically just that.
If you
And so he
truly
kills
are.
Mankart Cameron, and then just says peace out to these guys that are trying to avenge him.
And now it's just the last part of the game coming up.
Blade.
You found.
All right, so we killed Mankart Cameron, got his stuff, and now Martin is going to save the world. Conveniently right after he becomes emperor.
Yes.
Because old emperor died, if you
Everything is ready.
remember.
I've been expecting.
This is actually one of the only places where quick save, quick load is actually used to skip dialogue. Most places it doesn't save any time. It'll skip the dialogue, but animations will keep playing, or it just won't save time. But this place is an exception to that rule for this game.
No.
All right, the last skooma stack of the game. And just heading into the final area, and suddenly everything is just burning and dying. And you'll see the biggest creature in this game, which you can't fight. So thanks Skyrim for giving us creatures that are big. And we wait for Martin to walk through, taking his time. He could have died on the way here, but he didn't.
Oh, hello.
Perfect.
That's beautiful.
And time is coming up real soon here.
Yeah, he'll call it.
And
I do.
time.
I think we got a 3703.
37?
3703.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you can just see new emperor turned into a dragon with the power of the Elder Scroll and the necklace.
And knowing that Martin was played by Sean Bean, you can probably guess what's going to happen.
It's gonna be okay, right? Like, you think everything's gonna be okay, but then just like the dragon just turns to stone. Like, guess we should have got the rest of the armor.
The amulet is shattered. Dagon is defeated. With the dragon's blood and the amulet of kings, we have sealed the gates of Oblivion forever. The last of the septims passes now into history. I go gladly, for I know my sacrifice is not in vain. I take my place with my father and my father's fathers. The third age has ended, and a new age dawns. When the next Elder Scroll is
So,
written,
if you want to learn this game,
shall be
if you want to
its
learn anything about Elder
The
Scrolls
shape of the
speedruns,
future. The fate of the
speedrun.com/Oblivion, we have all the resources,
These things
the leaderboards,
now
everything over there. So.
Yeah,
belong
open
to you.
Discord, fairly active runners, teach you everything. We've got mini tutorials in almost every part in the game. Ask any of us how to do anything. And we're really thankful that we got Oblivion to have another showing here. And hopefully we can come back again. So thanks for watching and everything.
Yep.
All right, great job on the run, Garish. And as Bubble says, you should definitely check out our Elder Council Discord channel. If you like speedrunning Oblivion, maybe want to check out some of the other games, or just want to share Todd Howard memes. So next up, we have an interview with J Hobbs and Ghost King, who's going to be running Wise Origin later on in the morning. So I'm now going to hand it over to our interviewers.
Can I lower this a little bit? It's kind of, I feel like I'm tilting my neck a little.
Hi, I'm J Hobbs. I'm here with Ghost King. And
Hello.
Ghost King's going to be running Ease Origin in just a little bit here. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. What's with the shades?
It's sort of a medical thing that came up.
Your doctor gave you like a prescription for being cool at all times?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, sounds good. But moving on. So you're going to be running Ease Origin later, a couple runs from now. Now, this is not the only Ease game you run. You're pretty familiar with the series. What is it about the Ease series that you really like for speedrunning?
I like their combination of action and movement. A lot of them have very neat little tricks and ways of gaining speed and momentum that make the games a lot more fast than I would say the average action RPG, while at the same time having a lot of intense boss battles and all sorts of neat little tricks. As well as, I just really like the music in the series as well. So
Right. Always a good strong, point for speedrunning. And now I know you run a lot of games, especially even outside of the Ease series and stuff, but you really like to stick to the RPGs mostly. What is it about RPGs that you really like, that genre that really draws you?
I like a nice balance of games that feel like they take both skill and memory. I like games that feel as if the skill of the game is not just entirely muscle memory, but also that I have to think, I have to improvise, I have to come up with something in every different situation that makes each new run something different, so rather than just like resetting after 5 minutes because I didn't get this one trick.
So kind of looking at like randomness as an opportunity for interesting strategies instead of just a detriment to your run.
Yeah, different games handle that a little bit differently. Some games you get a random element and it's like, well, I lose my entire run. I like the ones that the random element is you can get one of 4 possible scenarios and you have to know how to deal with each one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely cool. Well, I know with Ease, it's kind of, it's a somewhat popular series, but not one that like a lot of people are familiar with. So for those out there who are watching who are completely unfamiliar with the Ease series, that is spelled YS, by the way.
Yeah.
Give me kind of, an elevator pitch. Like, what should we be looking out for? What are we sticking around late night for this run?
Well, the series has a lot of interesting lore, fantastic soundtrack, because the development team behind it has its own, they have their own in-house sound team rather than just
awesome.
like a simple composer that they hire for commission. There's a lot of really neat tricks to just handling the game. The games are actually really difficult, so if you're like a challenge seeker or thrill seeker, I think they're fantastic for that. There's just a lot that I could say about this series that I can't do in a simple interview question, but suffice to say, there is just so much content, so much that I love about the series.
Cool. And why Ease Origin specifically did you kind of submit here? Why do you like that one? We've seen other Ease games from you at other marathons and stuff in the past, but why Ease Origin at this one?
Well, for this marathon in particular, I picked the game up to submit for a marathon last year. I was watching a streamer running the game for a smaller marathon back when I was first getting into the series, and I thought, this game looks really cool. Why haven't I seen this game in more marathons? And I decided, maybe I'll be the guy who learns it and submits it into marathons, and kind of just building up off of that, I just thought, hey, I'll offer it to GDQ and see how that goes, and it got in, and I was just It's kind of a long time coming. There's been a lot of community members trying to get this one into GDQ for years now, so it's great to see it in, and I'm a little honored to be the one to do the run.
That's awesome. You kind of touched on it there, but did you want to go in more in depth at all about like kind of how you started running Ys games?
Well, at the time, the community for the game was, a lot of the members had grown fairly inactive, and I saw a small marathon run by a German runner by the name of Crush, and I thought the game looked really cool. I picked it up, learned it really quickly for a marathon that I ended up getting into, and I was just utterly floored by that. And
just wanted to jump in there and be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to pick up a game that I felt like I could learn and potentially even have some sort of input on. And it's been 2 years later, and it's been a great ride ever since.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be looking forward to that run coming up pretty soon, but I want to ask you, as I've been asking a lot of people throughout this marathon so far, for those who want to get into speedrunning, especially after watching your run later, what can we, what resources are available? Where can we look to learn more about speedrunning and Ys Origin in particular?
Well, the community is just a bunch of wonderful people. A lot of people are really willing to, go the extra mile and help out new runners for the games. If you talk to anyone who on the leaderboards who's been submitting in the last couple months, they'd be willing to help you. For the category in particular that I'll be running, which is TOEL EX, I made a video tutorial myself to try and help new runners, and I've heard some feedback that it's helped them out. Really, it's just a very friendly community that's willing to help out any new runners. We have our own Discord, but just reach out to any of us, and we'll be more than willing to help out anyone looking to learn one of these games.
Fantastic, and I can totally back that up as someone who has known Ghost King for a couple years now. He's totally approachable, so be sure to reach out. Well, with that, I think we're going to look to the man who never sleeps and is perpetually always just out of frame. It's my main man Sent here. Tell me about some prizes we got going on.
Hey, Hobbs, always glad to be here. So we have a couple of prizes for this early morning block here. We have this statue of Molik Bal, the Daedric Prince in all of his glory. That's going to be running up through our next run, Divinity Original Sin. And this is also the start of a golden PlayStation 4 submitted to us by Sean Hammonds, really cool guy. And that's going to be running all day today until, I believe, A Link to the Past tonight. $50 cumulative for that, so hey, get your donations now in for the statue, get your donations in for the PS4 throughout the day, and of course, get your donations in for this awesome computer all throughout the marathon. That's $150 cumulative. As always, guys, you can head over to gamesandquick.com, check out the tracker. That is all the relevant information you're ever going to need about prizes, upcoming speedruns, donation bids, and anything you'd want to know about the marathon.
Well, that's all the incentive I need. I'm definitely going to be pulling out my wallet immediately after this interview's over. And with that, I'll be sure to send it back over to David, as we're going to be checking out this Divinity Original Sin marathon run up next in this great marathon. Take it away.
All right, thanks, guys, and we are all ready to go for our co-op run of Divinity Original Sin, so I will now hand it over to Shaddix and Dr. T-Chops.
Hello. I'm Dr. T-Chops.
Hi, I'm Shaddix.
This is Divinity Original Sin. Before we get started, we're just going to give a quick rundown of our characters that we're making. So for attributes, we have 7 strength, which lets us carry more, and 8 dex, which will make our spells that we have selected always pass. They'll never fail. There is a speed stat. It doesn't actually make you faster outside of combat, which is really disappointing, so it's useless. For abilities, we have Scoundrel, which gives us access to these skills. I have 2 points in TK, and I have lockpicking. Shaddix has a point in wand to do some more damage.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is these skills here. So we have Fast Trap, which actually makes us move faster for a shorter period of time, and Walk in Shadows, which actually makes us go completely invisible. Enemies can't see us, can't attack us. Super overpowered, super good.
Yeah.
I believe all our stats are done. Let me double check my talents. Yep. Okay, time will start on accepting our characters.
Yeah, just real quick, the talents we have as well is just Pack Mule to double the weight you carry, and I have Lone Wolf, which just gives us more ability points, which we'll use later. And funnily enough, fast track is literally the only thing in the game which will make you move faster outside of combat.
I also quickly want to mention that we had a donation incentive for the character names and Datboy and 2B1. So we are playing as those characters.
The world famous couple, Datboy and 2B.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Ready on time?
3, 2, 1, go. So. This is Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition. It is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. We're going to start out by using basins. This is the thing that makes us go faster, the only thing in the game.
Okay. Oh, we do have autosaves on. That's okay.
I'm just going to disable those because they waste time.
So before we start, I want to quickly talk about just give a brief overview of how the game is laid out for people who aren't familiar with it. So the game is basically laid out in 4 or 5 different major areas with some sub-areas, and you're supposed to have to complete quests in each area to progress to the next and eventually beat the game. We are not going to be doing any of that. Throughout the entire game, I don't even think we really completed quests technically. And
we do like a couple.
A couple technically, but not really. If you're wondering how to do that, stay tuned. It's actually pretty cool, and we'll get started with that pretty soon. A lot of this run will be separated from each other. You can see I'm like way over in the tutorial dungeon right now, and Chops is doing something else. I'm over here to get lockpicks to skip this first fight, which I will now send to Chops.
I'm going to make my way towards the first town. You can just mash through dialogue in this game, so it's super fast. And we actually went invisible to go past the first intro fight of the game that introduces the major villain, Leandra. But just go invisible and run past, and they just kind of forget about everything and leave. Which is kind of funny. There's a bigger